Hi, welcome everyone. In today's video, we'll discuss about generating creative content using LLM agents. So given a short description of a story in text, can we automate the whole process of generating a picture book, a comic book out of it? So the way the LLM agents are designed, it actually contains three agents. One is a script writer, then there is a visual artist, and then finally there is a synthesizer. So given a short story, the first agent, which is a script writer, its task is to decompose the story or breaks it down into multiple scenes, the distinct scenes from the story. So it actually generates multiple scenes. The number of scenes we can actually control, how many scenes it can generate. And then each of the scene is actually fed to a visual artist agent, an agent which looks at the scene, and it also has the background of the story, and then it generates an image depicting the scene itself. And once the images are generated, then there is a synthesizer which takes each of the scene's narration and description and the image generated and put together to create a comic book. Of course, the agents are integrated with LLMs. So in this case, the script writer is integrated with OpenAI to decompose the story into the multiple scenes, and visual artist is integrated with a DALL-E model to generate the images, and a synthesizer which puts together everything to create a comic book. In this case, I have used a markdown format. For this demonstration, I have taken a story from the book of Panchatantra. By the way, Panchatantra is an ancient Indian collection of interrelated animal fables, originally written in Sanskrit. Of course, there are many translations are available in different languages, including English. So I have taken a short story from that book, and here is the description of the story in about 300 or 400 words, and I have fed this to the LLM agent that I have designed, and this is what is actually it's generated, a comic book out of it without any manual intervention. This particular HTML page is generated, and you can see it's given a name, the lion's reflection, and given some background to the story, how it begins. So in a jungle ruled by proud lion king, the animals once feared for their lives. To avoid being hunted, they have offered a daily meal to the lion. And then how each of the scene is designed. So this is the lion is waiting one day for its meal and is getting late, and the lion recalls the agreement with the animals who promised to send one of their own as a meal for each day, and there is a nice image generated for that. And then suddenly a small rabbit appears and the lion's anger flares, and you can see there is an image generated, and he asks the reason for being late, and then the hare explains that the lion has appeared in the jungle claiming to be a true king, the another lion, and then the lion's curiosity is piqued and demands to be taken to the impostor, and then the hare actually leads the lion to the well, and the lion looks at the reflection and jumps into the well, and then the rest of the animals celebrated the death of the lion. And also has lesson from the story it has generated. Pride can lead to one's downfall. It's important to recognize our own limitation and not let arrogance cloud our judgment. This is a beautiful storybook it has generated with the pictures and the narration, very nicely written. So now let's dive deeper into the implementation of these agents using a framework called CrewAI framework. So there are two agents here. So one agent is called script writer, who writes scripts for scenes, for short stories for kids. The goal is to write simple, clear, and engaging scenes for short stories. So these are the instructions that are sent to the LLM from this particular agent, and there's a detailed description of the task itself. So you are given a short story for kids on learning important lessons in life. The objective is to create a picture book for fun reading and engagement for the kids. Your responsibility is to break down or decompose that into number of scenes, distinct scenes. The number of scenes is parameterized here again, and each focusing on specific event or a moment in the story itself. And you must generate the following information: an apt name for the story, a short summary of the story, a short exposition of the story which provides the background information which goes on the top of the comic book, the detailed narration of each of the scene in 1 or 2 sentences, and the final lesson which goes at the bottom of the comic book. And here is the placeholder for the story text itself. And we have defined a schema for it. I will show it later. Then there is a visual artist agent, and goal is to create engaging picture books. And the task is to, you're given a short story for the kids on learning important lessons in life. The objective is given again here. So generate a prompt which can be used by a text to image model to generate an image for the scene. Send the prompt tool provided generate the image and depict the character and background appropriately as per the requirement of the scene, and is expected to return the image and the prompt back. Again, there is a placeholder for the story summary, because while creating the image it should have some background information about the story and the scene description. And then finally the crew is designed here. So we are using DALL-E for creating the images, and here are the Pydantic classes defined for responding, for the responses to be generated from the LLMs. So there is one which is story scenes. This is the Pydantic class from the script writer agent. Story name, summary, background, lesson, and then scenes will be the list of scenes depending on how many scenes we are expecting it to generate. And each scene should contain a number, the sequence of the scene, and the narration of the scene. And there is a scene image Pydantic class which is the response expected from the visual artist agent, which returns the prompt and the image URL. So DALL-E actually generates an image and returns an URL from which you can download or embed it to the picture book. So we created 2 crews here, story crew, and we are using the OpenAI model primarily for the script writing to breaking down the story into scenes. And we have defined the script writer agent and script writing task. And then there is an artist crew which again talks to LLM, but in this case we have actually used a tool called DALL-E tool. So this particular LLM will convert the scene into a prompt for the DALL-E, and that prompt will be sent to the DALL-E tool to generate the image back. And then we have created the crew, and finally this is the main workflow where we are reading the information about the story. So there is a config file in which where is the story path. So this is the text file which contains the description of the story. These are number of scenes, how many scenes you're going to generate out of that. So it's configurable. The image path is not being used as of now. We are directly reading from the URL written by the DALL-E model, and this is the main flow. So the story crew is kicked off with the inputs, which is number of scenes and the actual story text. And then we are once we got the scenes back, right? We are actually kicking off the artist crew kickoff for each of the scene. The artist crew is actually kicked off, where artist goes and looks at each scene and generates an image. And once it returns, then this is the loop in which we are opening the storybook, the markdown format file, and we are writing the story, the background, and iterating through each of the scene and writing the narration and the image into the markdown file and the lessons. So this is the synthesizer. So we are not using, in this particular implementation for synthesizing, we are not using an agent or LLM. We are using a control flow. But for breaking down the story into scenes and generating the image for each scene, we are actually using LLM and the agents. So here I have written a blog detailing the design and implementation of this LLM agents. I am going to put the link to this particular blog in the description of the YouTube video. Create your own agent and generate some creative content, and let me know in the comment section. So thank you for watching this video, and see you next time with some new examples of generative AI. Thank you.